Okay, Jasmine, when you're ready, feel free to take it away.
Thank you so much. I am so ecstatic to be here. Thank you so much. And thanks for everyone's patience with our technical issues. But so happy to be here today. And thank you for that intro. So today we are going to um, just have an overview of two different things. Um, Writing collaboratively for yourself, with friends, with other artists, but also how to take your songwriting skills and apply them in the commercial space when it comes to sync placements. Next slide, please.
Sure.
Great. So our co-creation agenda for today, I'll just share a little about me. Most of it was shared already. I want to spend most of our time like playing and working together, but I'll also share my why, my intentions, demystify a commercial brief and an agreement, and then we'll play with different strategies that I use when I'm songwriting with other creators. I'll share some ideas about play menus and where you can source your inspiration from, and also share like general tips and leave some time for questions and answers. Yep. Um, so about me, I currently work with Madam Flow Sync Agency as a creative coordinator with sync and community partnerships. I'm also an independent music supervisor and mentee for songwriting with Unlock Her Potential, um, and a fellow with Women in Film. So all the things writing and music, I love to be a part of. Um, Born in Texas, but I'm now based in South LA. And my intention is to have creators come together to create value. Um, I love to work with um, underserved populations and disabled populations because I belong to both of those groups. Um, Yeah, and I believe in not gatekeeping and sharing resources so that we can network across backwards and forwards. Next slide. Okay, great. So this is the fun stuff. um, I got an opportunity to go to the Vancouver International Film Festival AMP program. So they have a whole separate program just for music as part of their film festival. And that was the first time I had seen a music brief. And so it opened my eyes and it gave me access and it made me feel better about the prospect of being able to create music, not only just for fun, but as a way to earn income as well as a professional. So here's actually a real brief. This is an active brief that actually I'm is very niche, but I'm looking for this material as we speak. So in it, I won't read the brief itself, but you can skim along as I just pinpoint some of the major components of what will be included in a brief. Um, that includes replacement tracks. So many times, the music supervisor or producer um, agency may not have the budget to clear a specific song. It may be really expensive. And one thing that you may or may not know is that the music budgets are very small, even though everyone loves music, it's not really budgeted for in the way that it should be. So, in that case, there are replacement songs that are needed to feel to fill the void, help shape the world, and help set the tone. So, for instance, instead of a Beatles track, we may be looking for something that's funky, futuristic, groovy. These are words that would be used. Um, so we'd have the replacements and then the requirements. These are the most important features. Um, Here you would be looking for the instrumentation. Are there certain sounds? Are there certain instruments that the brief is looking for specifically? A lot of times I'll see things that are singer-songwriter, so guitar would be fine for that. This one is a little bit more specific to ask for djembe drums and things of that nature. So it can get very granular. So I just always want to look at every component and just see if you're meeting at least most of the marks. Vocals, this is another important factor. Some tracks made for sync, they may want male vocals only, female vocals only. They may want a combination of both, or maybe just the instrumental. So that's something important that you want to think about. Lyrics are huge as well when you're creating in the commercial aspect. Many times the instrumentation may work, but then when you get to the lyrics, they don't work because it completely goes away from what the scene is about. Um, while also keeping in mind that you may not want to be too much on the nose of a brief, meaning using words precisely, but being in the vein of a theme. Going over to the right side, there's a scene description. Sometimes we get the cut of a project, but it's very rare. So you would think that you'd have like a little clip or something that you could see, but for confidentiality purposes, um, it, there we usually just get these just in words. And then other factors that you want to think about are the mood, tone, the BPM, and your metadata. So metadata is just your information about the music. So in addition to your lyrics as the written component, you want to think about what are your own demographics as the artist? Do I identify as disabled? Um, am I Asian? Whatever features may help you stand out in terms of your demographics, because there's certain times where playlists or projects are pulled specifically for um, certain demographics to uplift and amplify them. So maybe your what's another one that I could think of? If you have like military background, like anything that you could use as a tag is helpful. Next slide. Okay, great. So these are things to think about in pre-planning and production. Um, with you, your teammate, it could be a partner or a team. One of the best pieces of advice I've gotten is to songwrite in a partnership, to not go it alone. So these are things that you want to think about with your partner, with your team. First, you want to think about who you are, what you stand for, what stories and messages you want to tell, your musical influences, and then get together and talk with your partner or team about what that means for everyone, because everyone's unique experience is going to create dynamic music, and that's what you want. Before recording, different exercises you can do: keep a journal specifically for your music. Um, I'm old fashioned in the sense that I like to write things down in a notebook. But when it comes to making sure your lyrics are already ready and recorded, it's also great to write them down in real time, as have someone with their laptop nearby, recording those things down and making edits as needed. Um, Things that you can also do is listen to three of your favorite musical artists, influences, create playlists, create a sonic board, so that when you come in session with your partner or your team, you have a sonic mood board of what your influences are and what type of inspiration you want to draw to put into your own work. Um, you can also journal down what you like about some of your favorite artists. Again, making a playlist that can serve as comps to what you want to make. And something that's been helping me a lot is getting very detailed and granular in my approach. So that means even writing down the timestamps, and you guys could get together and say, I really like this interpolation moment, or I really love the melody of this timestamp, and then you can play with, okay, how can we do this in our own way? Um, while meeting with your team, your partner, just discuss your creative goals and your vision. Make sure that everyone is in alignment. Um, while you're also meeting, something important to do is to make sure that you have your split sheet ready. So this is just a document that details everyone's contact information, their artist name, their government name, but also your agreed upon um, splits for publishing when it's time to um, send it to your ASCAP or your BMI or CSAC, that sort of thing, so that everyone's on the same page ahead of time. I would say even before you begin, writing for fun and pleasure and like cooking up, so that the administrative stuff is out of the way, and then you can really get into um, the fun of it all, because it's a lot of fun, especially if you take care of the business stuff on the front end. There are no questions after. Um, let's see and make sure I have everything. Okay, yeah. So, quick tips that I'm thinking about as far as working with a team, working with a partner, and sync specifically is to think about your tone and emotion. Um, it's something that people hint at, but it's very important. Think about some of your favorite shows. If they're dramatic, if they're urban, if they're gritty, and what those songs sound like. TuneFind is a great website that you could use, that specifically will show you each song that was placed for um, per episode, and that'll give you an idea of what's placing. You could even go back to the episode and watch it, look at the credits, see who the supervisors are, get familiar with the artist. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Carrie. Um, wonderful. Yeah, these are things that, you know, um, looking with not just the creative eye, but also with the business eye, so that you could start following these people on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, however you prefer to use your socials. This is a huge one when it comes to sync, is to plan for your instrumental breaks and to give breathing room. A lot of times music will be chopped up, broken down, to use for trailers, to use for commercials. You want to give the music editor, the person who will be um, going through and picking those chunks from your song, you want to give them clay, right? Your music is essentially clay for them to build something out of. So if you have some instrumental breaks built in, it gives them a little bit more room to pull certain stems out, to pull certain features out and amplify them in whichever way they're going to use the piece to the cut. Um, and as far as releasing music, this is something that I found out on the back end, just being a career pivoter. But if you specifically want to make music for sync, you don't have to release it. That's something that you could put in your metadata. So you could say it's a pre-release, you could say that it's um, unreleased, or you could plan to release it. And if you do plan to release it, um, you want to shoot for like a quarter's worth ahead of time, so that you can make sure that your publishing is intact, that your distributor um, can come through on the date that it's supposed to. Um, yeah, how are we doing so far? No, this
Yeah.
is a lot of information. Okay, wonderful. Okay, next slide. All right. So more fun stuff. Um, as I've looked over different types of briefs, these are some of the um, reoccurring themes or ask fors that are coming up. So you want to think about if your work is something that's evergreen, or if it's something that's seasonal. And there's room for everything. It just comes down to the timing, really. Um, so as far as making sing, thinking about that on the front end. Of course, make something that you're going to love regardless in the event that you do want to release it. Um, but there's lots of room for these specific things. Um, Holiday, Christmas, horror, these are all genres that are very popular and always need music. Um, Buzzwords that you want to put into your lyrics include season, holiday, snow, and also just the feeling that you get, right? Cheery, warm, um, "Ooh, it's so cold," whatever. It seems, obvious, but you wanna appeal to, like, masses when you're thinking of commercial and the sync scale, so that's exactly the wordplay that you wanna use, um, for that. Hip hop, up-tempo songs, region-specific music, um and a lot of times they're like motivational and uplifting hip hop that's being asked for. So, buzzwords that you could use inside of your lyrics are things like glory, victory, success, power, winner, boss. It's about leveling up. It's about winning. It's about being victorious. So those are things you want to think about for hip hop. For R&B, um, words like king, queen, rise, sultry things. Surprisingly enough, I've heard over and over again that um love songs are great, but you would think that they would like, trump everything, but not necessarily. So yeah, think about self-love when you think about like R&B, think about overcoming, think about um overcoming obstacles, that sort of thing. And in pop, we're looking for party, good time, celebrate. Any special occasion is a great thing to do when it comes to pop. And you want to think like upbeat, um, having a good time. Those are things that you want to put. Um, More songwriting and session tips. Oh, this is a big one. Record explicit and clean, but have them both readily available. Um, Err on the side of having a clean version um, as your baseline anyway. You never want to have an explicit version, but not have the clean. You could have the clean and not have explicit. No one's gonna fight back on that. So just think about your word choice. Um, and the versions that you have that are readily accessible. Um, as a second step to that, it's important in session when you're working with your engineer, or if you're your own engineer, that you have your a cappella version, your instrumental version, because oftentimes the same way that songs are trailerized, an a cappella version may suffice. Um, and they might want to use that and do all of these like swoops and kicks and punches and stuff behind it. So just make sure that in addition to having your instrumental, you also have your a cappella version. um, and samples are pretty frowned upon just because they're very hard to clear, and it means going through multiple people, which makes it harder to clear. So the less people who are involved in your sync work, the better. When there's only one person to go to, or very few, it's called one stop, meaning the whoever is managing the project doesn't have to go to multiple people or publishers or labels in order to clear something. So the less complicated, the better. Next slide. Okay, amazing. Um, so just thinking about like file types and what's normed, your WAV and your MP3 versions are great. If I'm not sure everyone's trajectory or level. But if you don't have a Disco account, that's DISCO, that's a great tool that you should use and set up if you're interested in sync, because music supervisors use this platform um, across um, across any ask. And that's how they share different playlists, receive their files. Um, I happen to do A&R on Sunday, and it does get a little tricky when I have to go to like SoundCloud, and then I have to go to a Dropbox, and then someone just emailed me an MP3, and then there's a disco link separately. Disco is the standard. So um if you don't have an account, I would highly encourage you to create one so that you could store your music and your metadata there. And then it's easily shareable. Another thing that is really important when you are clicking your check boxes for distribution, I know it's like an extra $5 or $10 depending on who you're with. I think with DistroKid, it's like an extra 9.99 or something. But make sure that your music has the function to be discovered via Shazam. Shazam is an app that it does like sonic reading. So if I'm out at a bar and I really love the song, I can get my Shazam app and I can put it on, and the AI will like extract the stems and pick up the data, and it'll give me the artist and the name. So I've discovered lots of music that way through film, through television, while I'm out and about. And I've become a fan that way, and others will become a fan of you as well. So it's just that little added step, even though it's like an extra cost, it could really make the difference for your visibility and to be discovered in that way. Um, okay, great. So still on this one, make sure to register your work with BMI, ASCAP, CSAC is by invitation. Have your splits agreed upon before pitching. Um, Use an Excel table or some kind of grid of your choice so that you can just have your own record of who was involved, their contact. Because as you work with multiple songwriters and other collaborators, it's great to have your own personal directory, but it's also great to have like a reference in case you happen to lose your split sheet if you guys did it by hand or what have you. Just another, backup for yourself to have the information. Um, yes, and to just store your files in one place. To half the battle as creatives is staying organized and efficient, right? Because the creative part, at least I can speak for myself, is very easy, but then the administrative stuff can get muddled. And if you can keep it in order and keep it in check, then you'll win on all fronts. Um, Great. Next slide. Okay, I'm gonna go over this quickly because I do want to get into some exercises. Um, I just wanted to also show you the flip side of what an agreement would look like in the event that a supervisor, producer, director, whoever the case, ad agency wants to work with you um, and has chosen your music for a placement. You'll see a memo that looks a little something like this that'll outline your email, the project that it would be used for, the date, the contact of who it's from. Um, they'll tell you the studio, the network, or the production company that it's for. And they will tell you approximately how long, how much of the music, the duration that they'll be using. They should give you a scene description. So there should never be a time where you are prompted for a placement and you don't know how your music will be used in the scene. So they should share that information with you. You may not be able to get a cut of it, but they should at least give you a scene description. And then there are more specific things in the next slide about when you'll be paid. Usually it's anywhere from 90 to 120 days after. So that's another thing to think about. It's like, woohoo, got the placement, but your payment may not process for months. So that what do you do in the meantime? You you keep creating is what you do. You keep creating, you keep living, and you keep pitching for other projects. Um, Many people have said like once they get their first, then after that it's kind of like here and there, but smooth runnings. So keep working. Um, Next slide, please. And then okay, yeah, I'll touch a little bit on this. It will This is a good time for you to clarify and ensure that your splits are correct because based on whatever's on this publishing sheet, um, that's how payout is going to work. So just make sure that what you and your partner and your teammates have decided on is exactly what's on this paper, so it doesn't cause issues or like payment problems in the future. Um, Next slide. Okay. Um, Scene description, we talked about initial rights. This is important because a lot of projects will want to be for perpetuity, meaning that they have the rights to your music indefinitely. Some people are okay with that, some people are not. But just make sure to have, an attorney friend, a lawyer, someone who can decode your agreements to the down to the to the nitty gritty, so that, for instance, if you don't want this agency or whatever to have your music forever, you say you want to only license it for like 3 years, that's your time to also like advocate. But also just know with the larger studios that they will want perpetuity because your work will have multiple homes, in the same way that you may see um, a show on ABC and then years later it's available on Netflix, or the apps keep changing. That's a reason for them to do like um it's basically like a standard rate, and then that's it. So just keeping that in mind. Okay, next slide. Great. So more tips. If you're interested in sync, if you want to learn more about sync, music supervision, how can my music show up in the commercial space? Um, it's great to follow music trades. So of course your publishers, your BMI, your ASCAP, your SOCAN. Like some people have international pool or a bi-coastal or whatever the case. If you um just follow different trades, but also follow different film, TV trades, like your Variety, your Deadline. Um, Connect with other writers, filmmakers, television makers, and you can do this via film festivals, um, local colleges, um, college like symposiums and conferences, private Facebook groups. For folks of color, industry plants is a great one. Who you know is a great one. But just think about different nonprofit community organizations that um, want to pull their resources to support artists. These are the places that you want to be, because a lot of times they also have the scholarships and the grants and the conferences where you get to meet like-minded people and find out additional resources. Um, Again, you want to look at those credits of your favorite shows or shows that you would like to create music for, and reach out to them. I kind of got my start by cold emailing different music supervisors, getting interested in that, trying to see what their day to day was like, taking coffee with anyone who would talk to me, following up with them, but also joining the Guild of Music Supervisors. There's a Composers Diversity Collective. There's so many different organizations out there. So definitely keep your ear to the ground when it comes to that. And then take classes, apply for incubators. I know different colleges, Berkeley has a robust continuing education classes, coursework, summer classes about sync law or um, publishing. You know, follow your curiosity on that. Apply for incubators, fellowships, and like I said, join organizations. Okay. Um, Next slide. Okay, great. Not too far off. We're around the halfway mark, and now we get into like some creative exercises. So I get my inspiration from any and everywhere. Lived experience, observation, conversations with friends. I take my education background, my art interest. I figure out how to storytell in any way that I can. So one of my favorite shows growing up was Whose Line Is It Anyway? And a few years back, prior to the pandemic, I got to teach children's songwriting classes, and they really loved it. And one exercise that we would do is we would literally draw different lines and create melodies to them, or we would like interpret them. We would create waves. Um, and it was very interesting to see what they would come up with. So for this one, I just, you know, found a wavy line. What you would do with your partner or team is you would draw a line, um, or extract a line from one of your favorite songs. For this one, I'm curious to know if you guys know it, but the words are, "We were both young when I first saw you." Okay. It's important to remember here that words are just words until you assign them a genre, right? Um, but what you would do for this exercise is reimagine the melody, genre, and world. Uh-huh. All right. So James knows that we're talking about Taylor Swift um here. Yes, love story, right? And so you could argue that it's pop country, however you want to put it. But you know, challenge yourself to take a simple line and create an entirely different world from it. So um I was thinking, you know, how could I do this in different ways? And I thought of Motown, and I thought of rock, and I thought of different ways to say these very same words. So that's an exercise that you could absolutely do. Um, would anyone care to come off of mute and reinterpret the line in a different way, in any way that you could think of?
Shall I come out of screen share so I can't see everyone, you see. Shall I pause the
I,
screen share?
I, I just put in the chat to raise your hand if you're interested.
Okay.
Looks
We
like
have
you got
start.
your hand. Starts.
Any brave souls?
Yeah, there is one.
Yeah, there is one.
I
Wonderful.
asked to unmute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll mute myself.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Starts with bars.
How's it going? My bad. I'm at work. I'm not sure if my background is loud, but can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, perfect. I can't sing, but what I heard was, "We were both young when I first saw you," or something like that.
That's cool.
Nice.
Awesome.
Any-
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
I had a similar thing actually. I had when we were both young, I first saw you. Da-na, da-na. So I had that little melody idea.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to bring up the participants, see if I can see any raised hands.
Jasmine, do you want any more? Those are great.
All right, I can't sing too well either, so I'm gonna wing it.
Yeah.
We were both young when I first saw you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay. That was amazing. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate everyone joining in and giving their interpretation. So see how they're just words? You can make them jazzy, you can make them soulful, you can make it pop, you can, add your own flavor to it because the words are just words. Great. Let's move on to another exercise. So I've just taken some of my favorite films. Put them in the chat if you know the pictures. I thought that might be another way to get some co-creator involvement. But if you know these films, drop them in the chat. Yeah. Oh, close. Not quite Best Man. I'll give you a hint. Brown. Brown is the one for the middle. There we go. Brown Sugar. What about the first one? What do you guys? Okay, close. Big Daddy. First Wives Club. Amazing. Yeah. So, something that you could do is you could take your favorite film or place and create a story or an alt song. So when I look at this photo, I think of the epic ending scene where they're dancing and you don't own me, and so that could be a wonderful concept that you rework in your own way. Those words are very powerful, right? You don't own me. Oh my goodness, what world could we create with that? It speaks to independence. It speaks to paving your own way. It speaks to individuality. It's empowering. There's so many different angles that you could take this. For the second one, it's a love story about childhood sweethearts that come back together, right? So that's something that you could think about, like, oh, should we cross the line, like forbidden love, friends to lovers trope, sitting in the park. There's so many different things that could come about from just this picture. We're not seeing eye to eye. I challenge you to just take different things, whether it's like film or another song, and just see, okay, this is my lens on what's in front of me. Same thing with Big Daddy. This one is about unexpected parenthood. What does that feel like to have someone in your care, to write about love that's not romantic? We talked about that before. Family, that's a huge theme that anyone could understand. So just taking those universal themes and making it your own. Great. Does anyone have any ideas or worlds or words or phrases that comes to them when they see any of these three images? Feel free to raise a hand, and then, okay, I see friendship. That's great. Anyone else? Parent bonding, absolutely. Role models, yes. Everything that everyone is saying are great for art's sake, also for sync. If you can think about different interpretations of love that aren't romantic, that's a win right there. Yeah, being together. Everyone can relate to that. Great. Doing dishes. Yes. All right. Okay. Well, let's move on to the third exercise. All right. So let's say your partner or your team is in your garage or it's a house or in a cafe or something. You could all decide to bring in something that's important to you that you could talk about and share about and see where the line of intersection happens, right? So in the same way that we used to love to go to school with like our favorite toy or a plushie, and share with our friends at school and show and tell, same thing with the songwriting process. I come to it with a very fun and childlike and curious approach, about where I'm drawing my inspiration from. And I feel like with partners, I do the same thing. So if you have the capacity, I will give everyone a minute to go find something in their environment. Could be anything. I have a fortune cookie blurb in front of me, just to find something that that we could hold up and a few of us could share out. So maybe a minute to go find something in your environment and then come back with it. There we go. I keep muting myself and forgetting that I can't undo it. Did everyone get a chance to find something in their environment? Some kind of source of inspiration? Oh, love that you have your drum, Carrie. I'm just getting a chance to look at everyone. See all of your faces. Okay, amazing. I can share first, or is someone like burning to share? Or should I break the ice?
Yeah.
I see a hand from Carrie.
Okay. You want to know about the memory? Do you want to hear this first? This is
Either.
called this is called a talking drum. I think it's usually African, and I was doing this one music for myself with some of the actual tracks from Logic. You know, it turned out pretty good, but you know, it's one of my engineers says, you know, I let him listen to one of my new pieces. He said, you always want to use something original in there. I'm going somewhere with this because, you know, like I do these violins, I do these ones from native instruments and stuff, but you always have to turn them up and tweak for 2 days. But he's saying he's to use a real ones, you know, so you hire somebody. So I'm saying all that to say, when I use this, I didn't have to do so much tweaking, but I had to be right on, you know, as a musician. So it kind of goes like this. That's a low sound, and then we. So you go to low to high.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Very cool. Anyone else want to share by hand raise? No? Okay. Oh, I see Mariano.
Can you hear me? Yeah, you got me. So
Yeah.
you said fortunes from fortune cookies, and I have a jar on my desk where all of my favorite fortunes I put in there. That way, if I'm ever, if I need something, I pull one out and kind of see if something inspires me. But I had one on my desk here, and it says, "Over every mountain there is a path, although it may not be seen from the valley."
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah, that's definitely material, right? For sure, for sure. Um, let's see. I don't want to
It has
interrupt anyone else.
stars with bars. Let me see if I can.
Okay.
Mm,
Hey, stars.
Hey, it's me again. Uh, so I said my glasses mainly because they are tinted, but you can still see my eyes. So it kind of adds to some like on a kind of see through my lens type of thing, or see through
Mhm.
my, type literally see through my lens, just see from my perspective. It's interchangeable, I guess, but there's a lot of I feel like ways you can go with that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep, that's another great point I didn't mention, but I'll mention it now, is a perspective and point of view, right? So is it first person? Is it I? Is it we? Is it thinking about point of view and perspective when you're also songwriting? Like who's telling the story? Awesome. Here's Mariano. I have my Panda Express um as well. And when I look at it, I hear a country song, and so I would write country to this. But the quote says, "There's always time to try a new path in life." Yeah. So
we have.
never too late.
We also have Pat raised her hand. Let's see if
Okay.
I can, let me see if I can pop you.
Hi.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see this.
It's a little blurred, only because of your background is blurred, so it's blurring the photo.
Yeah,
Can
I
you read it
can't.
to us?
Yes. Please put your heart, your voice, your stories, your work, and yourself into the world.
Oh yeah,
You
for
want me
sure.
to write it out? Or you
Yeah.
want me to text it, message it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just try and remember this as I'm creating. And sometimes, you get stuck. And I guess this is kind of what you're talking about. Like you're looking for inspiration. Because I was told a long time ago, you can't wait for inspiration to try and come up with a song idea. But I think in a way, what you're saying is, you need to find inspiration. You can't wait for inspiration either. That's great when that happens. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what this is about, I think. This
I love
saying.
that. For sure. I hear that too. It's like to have a habit and have that feed you whether you're in the mood or not, right? That you just write even for writing's sake and to not scrap it. Um absolutely. But to also just be so present that the inspiration never leaves you. Whether it's like the fact that we're having our spring equinox and the flowers are back, or a rainy day, a beautiful day, you're heartbroken, or the colors in a grocery store, whatever it is. It's just like, taking every little thing and being like, everything has a story. So I'm never without this, that abundant thinking. Yeah. Thank you so much, Pat. Wow. Oh my goodness. Only 5 minutes.
Only got 5 minutes. Wow.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be quiet. And does anyone have any thoughts, questions, impressions, wonderings?
Jody Lynn, go ahead and I just asked to unmute.
I have a quick question from one of your first slides. And also I'll quickly show my thing that I pulled. Well, besides my kitty that ran away, it's an antique glass. I collect antique glasses. and this actually came from my friend's in-laws house when they were breaking the house down, and I always think of where has this been, who drank out of it, and what was their story and what was going on. And so that would be my inspiration for that. But I did have a question. When you had showed the slide about payments, this
Mhm.
has been an issue that came up for one of my friends. Am I correct to assume that, say I'm the person signing the contract for song A. I was under the impression that the money would come to me and then I split it with the writers. When I saw your form, I wasn't sure if whoever is leasing the song sends it to all the songwriters. And is it different every time, or is there a constant on that?
It's different every time. Best practice is that everyone does get the agreement, provided their contact information was given. But sometimes it's only to the person who signed it, and then from there you do it. But the great thing about having the splits as part of the agreement is that your publisher does have that information. So if you ever need to like verify or cross check, then that's a point of reference that you could check with them directly if the studio or production company is behind, because a lot of times that happens as well. But that means those multiple points of contact for everyone involved. Like you have your split sheet, right, that you did in the very beginning with everyone before they were involved. And then you have that agreement that has everyone's name on it and their PRL information. And then from there, if you needed to cross-check, you could cross-check to see if it was cleared from the studio or production, whatever, with your PRL. So there's like multiple levels that you could check and cross-check. But it does sometimes, it's annoying, but sometimes you do have to remind people to pay you. That happens. That's a real thing. But the important part is.
So my question was more, do you usually get paid? Does the person that submitted and is the lead contact on it?
Usually, yeah.
Okay, so that's more of the usual, instead of, say I send you a song and you're using it, then you sending four people, 4 different checks out. So would you say it's more often just the one person gets it and then they funnel it to the rest of the writers?
It depends on the publishing part. Yeah, it varies. Yeah, it does vary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we only have 1 minute left. How are you for time, Jasmine? Do you have a little bit longer for questions, or should we perhaps direct people to our creators circle where they can post questions there?
Yeah, I have extra time.
You have extra time? Okay. I'm just looking through the chat. Or if there's anybody that has a pressing question, please raise your hand. If not, I'll go through the chat and see if I can. Here we go. I'll ask you to unmute Kerry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I typed it earlier. Trying to find it here. Oh, you mentioned how you use distro mostly for communicating, but I've seen it online. It looks like you can do metadata. Is it mostly for metadata or communication or both?
So Disco is, how can I put it? It helps you create your own playlist. It helps you customize, especially if you have like a larger catalog. You can curate specific songs for specific briefs, but it's a home for all of your work to live with the information needed, so that you can essentially like drop like drag and drop specific songs for specific briefs. Because for instance, if you're getting a pop brief, right, that's like strictly pop, you don't want to upload your hip hop tracks to that. So it's a good home for you to keep and store all of your catalog with the metadata, but to share it on demand and what's the word I'm looking for? To make it custom to the specific briefs as opposed to just sending all of your music all the
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's good. Good to have like on my SoundCloud. I got like 8 different playlists, so you can just direct people.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what you want to do is you know, of course keep it, but also make your disco account.
Yeah. Okay. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to share the link to our Creators Circle Facebook group. And then if anybody has any questions that weren't answered, please feel free to post them in our Ask Me Anything. Let's see if there's anything else here, or if, has anybody else got any questions? I'm just sorry, because I shared the screen, I wasn't able to see the chat, so. Okay. All right, I think, what do you think, Rebecca? Shall we call it? And
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you all for coming. And we also, if anyone has any comments or feedback, please email us at hello@pandionmusicfoundation.org, especially if you want to write a little blurb if we're helping you, and we can use it on our website or post to our donors. We would appreciate it. Thank you. And
yeah.
Jasmine, amazing. Did you say Madam Flo that you work with them sometimes in the beginning?
Yes. Yeah, Madam
Rashad.
Flossin.
Yeah, Rashad.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been on with us a couple of times.
Amazing. Yeah.
Cool.
So-
And I just wanted to finish up by saying next Wednesday, we do have a music supervisor meet and greet with Karita Miller. And that's actually a time change. It's going to be 3 p.m. Pacific. So register for that. Okay, thank you so much, Jasmine. That was brilliant. I
Thank you,
really
Jasmine.
appreciate your time.
Having me.
Oh,
Such
thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much, everyone.
And then also, don't forget, everybody, we're partnering with 2Indie, and there's Get Rep that starts tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up yet, sign up. And if you sign up with does anybody have the link? And can you put the link in the chat where, if you guys have
Hi, everyone. Yes, actually, for Get Repped, if you buy your tickets through our creator circle, we have a private discount code for our community there. So make sure you join our Facebook. I believe we also will be sharing it if you sign up for our newsletter. So if you're already signed up to our newsletter, make sure you check your email. We share the code through email. But yeah, that's a nice little discount for our community as well. And I believe we shared the Facebook Creator Circle link in the chat earlier.
You did, yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay, great.
Anani. All right,
Thank you,
everyone.
Jasmine.
Thank you.
Jasmine.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Bye,
for
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.